The season is now over for most of Europe, and this has left us with dozens of clubs that are in desperate need of a rebuild. While of course you could save some of these ideas for EA Sports FC, if you start them on FIFA 23, you'll be able to directly compare your progress to real life. So I've put together some short descriptions of 5 saves that I'm super excited to try, and believe it or not, I'm not even going to mention Argentinian Birmingham City once in today's video. So probably the most obvious and most popular rebuild in today's video is Leicester City, who've been relegated to the Championship and their squad will need a total rebuild. What's going to happen in real life? Well, Maddison and Barnes will most likely be sold, Tielemans and Soyuncu have already left the club, and Vardy and Evans might even retire. It's not all bad news though, there's actually 2 fun saves you can do with Leicester on FIFA 23. The first is playing in the Premier League, trying to replay last season and making sure you sell Maddison if you're not finishing in the top half of the table. Realistically, you probably will be doing this because they do have a good squad on FIFA. But the second and better save is moving Leicester into the Championship. Move Maddison to a top 6 team like Newcastle before you start the save, and try and build a fun young team to storm the 2nd division with. Because you're a former Premier League side, you'll start out with a big budget with either save, so a total rebuild is possible in the Premier League or the Championship. While Leicester do have some horrific financial issues off the pitch, including owing all of their parachute payments already to an Australian bank, this isn't actually included on FIFA. If you want to make things a little bit more specific to Leicester, why not try and recreate their 2014 signing strategy, where they scouted a lot of the French leagues for undervalued talent, developed them at the club and then sold them on for massive money to the likes of Man City and Chelsea. This is a perfectly valid way of playing in either the Premier League or the Championship, and probably the most interesting way to actually play a FIFA career mode. I've even included a fun manager option in the thumbnail of this video. Claudio Ranieri, of course, being the manager who won the league with the Foxes in 2016, he's actually currently the 3rd favourite to replace Dean Smith as the manager. Can you recreate history first by gaining promotion and later by winning the title with your rebuilt Leicester squad? Let me know how it turns out either on Discord or in the comments below. Over in Germany, it has finally happened. Hertha Berlin have been relegated into the 2nd division. After years of false dawns, billionaires owners, and a slow decline, Hertha have finally finished last place in the Bundesliga. A total refresh is needed in Berlin, and unlike some of the other clubs in today's video, the team actually does have a lot of money to fully rebuild. There's a lot of similarity with the situation Leicester find themselves in, mainly around the poor recruitment. While Leicester did refuse to spend any money due to their owner's financial situation, Hertha decided it was best to sign players from teams that had already been relegated, and you can see this from the lack of talent throughout the squad. This almost led to Hertha being relegated in 2022, but the promotion playout saw them scrape another year in the Bundesliga. With no chance of redemption now 2023 has come to a close, once again, you'll have the choice to either save them in the Bundesliga or rebuild them in the 2nd division. Thanks to their mega rich owner, Hertha actually start out with a huge budget. You can basically rebuild the entire team in the first window, especially if you start shipping out some of the past it players like Kevin Prince Boateng, yep, he is still playing, and Stefan Jovetic, and choose between exciting young talents or players who are proven in whichever league that you pick. While Hertha are one of those teams that seem to have a random finish every single year, some years their top 6 level team will finish 17th, while other years their squad will seem like it's the worst and finish in the top half. With a few improvements, I'm sure you will be able to regain your place as Berlin's best team. Your reign will all be about stabilising the club, filling the squad with players who are top division level and actually using their massive investment to improve the team. Let's not forget, only 3 years ago, Hertha Berlin did spend €100 million in one transfer window just to finish 14th. Let's see if you can do a little bit better by investing in your youth, and maybe you'll be playing in Europe in under 5 years. One team that is very familiar with Europe is Valencia. Again, just like Leicester, I'm sure it's not a surprise to see them in a rebuilding video. There's no real obvious challenge to a Valencia save other than rebuilding the club from top to bottom. This season was terrible both on and off the pitch, with awful people doing awful things both in the boardroom and in the stands. Somehow they managed to finish just 2 points ahead of the relegation zone. With the amount of money they've spent on players and a new stadium, relegation could actually mean the end of this club. The squad is already fairly young, but the Chinese owner Peter Lim will not be giving you a big budget to add more quality. Well, this is my view of the Valencia owner, and it's definitely not something that EA agrees with, because Valencia actually start out with the 4th largest budget in the league. Use it wisely, because if you want to be realistic, you should only be spending what you earn from selling players. The rebuild needed in Valencia isn't actually that massive. By the end of Season 2, only Cavani and probably Gabriel Paulista will need replacing in your starting 11, with Jose Gaya looking likely to end his career at his boyhood club. At this point of your save, players like Musa, Almeida and Mamardashvili will all be hitting their peaks, so focus on buying players who can develop to be better than they are, rather than players who are just at a similar level, and I promise you, you'll have a very fun career mode save. The main reason I'd recommend Valencia isn't their existing squad, it's actually their history with youth. You might have heard of Ferran Torres, David Silva or Jordi Alba. All 3 came through the academy here in coastal Spain. Even 5-star scouts are probably realistic with Valencia due to the sheer amount of talent that Valencia did used to bring through their academy. While Valencia did manage to stay up last season, Sampdoria did not. Recently purchased by Leeds owner Andrea Radrizzani, Sampdoria are a mid-table Italian club that flopped to a last place finish in Serie A. With just 3 wins the whole season, it's clear that a total rebuild is needed here in northern Italy. You might remember the former Sampdoria team that included Antonio Cassano finishing in 4th place in the league and qualifying for European football. You might remember some FIFA legends like Biabiani, Pazzini, Lucas Torreira or Fabio Quagliarella all played for Sampdoria over the past decade. This is the kind of player that you need to attract back into the club if you want to be successful. I'd recommend you play as an Italian manager, have a look at some of the smaller leagues and try to find an Italian managing abroad and rebuild the club in the Sampdoria way. They're really good at identifying and recruiting talent from a variety of sources and then allowing that talent to develop with regular first team minutes before they sell them on to make a significant profit. Feel free to send your scouts out to South America, Poland, Belgium and the Netherlands. These are all areas that Sampdoria love to recruit from. Combine all of this and you'll have a fun save, no matter if you decide to start in Serie A or in Serie B. So let's end the video with something totally different. If you're a European football fan, try to name as many MLS teams as you can in the comments below this video. I can guarantee that 2 you'll definitely include are New York Red Bulls and LA Galaxy. As 2 of the most famous teams in the league, you'd expect their attractiveness would see them consistently fighting for MLS Cups, but as I'm making this video, Galaxy are actually last place in the entire league and the Red Bulls aren't doing much better themselves. With no relegation in the MLS, you will be starting this save in the top division. LA Galaxy start out with a fun squad. You've got some former FIFA legends like Javier Hernandez and Martin Caceres who will both be some key players for your team. For some reason though, their best player Douglas Costa was actually removed on FIFA 21 and never re-added, but he's definitely the best player in their squad. As you're missing out on Douglas Costa, that means you have 1 international slot free on day 1. You can use this to sign a standout player in any position, and do remember that Galaxy do prefer to sign players from Italy, Brazil and England. Of course, LA Galaxy are also known for signing some of the most high profile players in MLS history, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic and David Beckham. With the MLS having super similar team ratings, a massive rebuild isn't really needed. I think a rebuild here is more about setting the club up for the future. MLS saves are really only fun for 2 seasons max. There's no reason you can't move to Europe after you complete your 2nd season though, rebuild another team, and maybe bring some Americans along for the journey. So that's 5 teams that I think really need a rebuild both in real life and on FIFA. If you've got any teams you think need one that I haven't included in today's video, let me know in the comments below. Check out the playlist and the video on screen right now. I think you'll really enjoy watching either of them. But thanks for watching, I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.